XRP is once again at the center of the crypto spotlight. Whispers are growing louder across the market, and one phrase keeps bouncing off every trading desk: Spot XRP ETF. Yes, you heard that right. The possibility of a Spot XRP ETF is no longer just a dream. It is slowly shaping into a reality, and analysts are pointing to September 18th as a critical date. A date that could ignite the next major move for XRP. Momentum has been building ever since Bitcoin ETFs were approved earlier this year. Institutional capital flooded into BTC, Ethereum followed. And now the question is not if but when XRP will get its turn. Ripple's recent legal clarity has cracked open the door, and the speculation around an ETF is only accelerating. If this approval or announcement lands around September 18th, we may witness a historic price shift. But this is not just about an ETF. The entire crypto market is leaning into September as a turning point. Macro decisions, regulatory clarity, and growing institutional adoption are all colliding into the same time frame. And XRP sits right at the center. Traders are glued to the charts. Analysts are dissecting every candle, and long-term holders are sharpening their conviction. September could be the month that rewrites XRP's story. This isn't about hype. This is about catalysts lining up. The Spot XRP ETF is one, regulatory clarity is another, Ripple partnerships continue to expand, and technical indicators show XRP has been consolidating tightly, squeezing into a symmetrical triangle. That breakout energy is building, and when it unleashes, it could align perfectly with these market catalysts. So, the question is simple. What happens to XRP if September 18th does in fact deliver? Could we see a move toward $1, $2, or even higher? Could this be the long-awaited signal for the next bull wave? September is shaping up to be one of the most important months for XRP in years. The conversation has shifted. No longer are people asking if XRP has potential. Instead they are asking how far and how fast it can run once the catalysts collide. The Spot XRP ETF speculation sits at the core of this conversation, but it is far from the only driver. Think about what has happened this year. Ripple fought through the SEC's toughest battle. Legal clarity is now a foundation, not a hope. The world of institutional finance is watching. Hedge funds, asset managers, and global banks all want exposure to assets that are both regulatory cleared and globally liquid. XRP fits both criteria, and that is why September 18th is circled in red ink across trading calendars. Market participants know ETFs have a way of transforming sentiment. Bitcoin's ETF unlocked a wave of new investors. Ethereum's ETF confirmed that altcoins are not locked out of this pipeline. And now XRP could be the next domino. It's not a question of retail hype. It's about deep liquidity, compliance-ready frameworks, and giving institutional desks an easy vehicle to deploy billions into XRP. Charts are showing something fascinating. XRP has been stuck in a tight range, but every time it dips, accumulation rises. Whale wallets have been slowly adding, exchange reserves show a quiet outflow, and retail sentiment has remained steady despite sideways action. These are the hallmarks of a market coiling, tension building like a compressed spring, and catalysts like an ETF launch are exactly what can release that pressure. Analysts are beginning to float targets. Conservative voices point toward $1.50 to $2 in the short term. More aggressive forecasts suggest $3 to $5, with the possibility of even higher numbers if institutional inflows mirror Bitcoin's early ETF surge. The point is not to chase extreme predictions. The point is that XRP has a clearer runway than ever before, and September's timeline is rapidly approaching. But what makes September 18th so critical? It's not just speculation. Regulatory calendars, market meetings, and ETF decision windows all cluster around this date. Macroeconomically, the Federal Reserve will also be weighing in on interest rates during this same period. A rate cut or dovish outlook could weaken the dollar, strengthen risk assets, and align perfectly with XRP's breakout setup. We are talking about a perfect storm of technical, fundamental, and macro forces converging. Ripple's partnerships are another underappreciated catalyst. While everyone debates ETFs, Ripple continues signing deals with banks, payment providers, and fintech innovators. Cross-border transactions are expanding, liquidity corridors are widening, and the utility narrative is stronger than ever. Utility is what sets XRP apart, and when speculative and real-world adoption meet, markets tend to explode upward. Psychology plays a massive role too. Traders know XRP has lagged behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. Frustration has been high, but that underperformance creates opportunity. If the ETF narrative flips the switch, sideline capital will rush back in, short sellers will scramble, and momentum could fuel a sharp parabolic move. It's not about whether XRP is capable, it's about whether the conditions align. And right now the alignment looks stronger than it has in years. So where does this leave holders? Patience has been tested, conviction has been questioned. But those who held through the storms may be standing right before the dawn. September is not guaranteed, markets never are. But the setup is undeniable, the catalysts are real. and the timing is razor-sharp. XRP could be on the edge of a moment that cements its place as not just a top digital asset but a top global financial tool. Momentum in markets is never about a single spark. It is about layers of catalysts building until the weight of pressure becomes unstoppable. XRP finds itself in this exact position. The ETF speculation is one layer. The regulatory clarity Ripple has earned is another. The growing partnerships across banks and fintech firms add further strength. And technical signals on the chart provide the final confirmation. Together these forces create an environment where September 18th is no longer just a date. It is a potential turning point. Look at the chart more closely. Daily candles reveal consolidation within a narrowing range, support holding firm around key psychological levels, resistance forming just above, and each dip attracting stronger buying pressure. The RSI has been moving from oversold conditions into neutral, a healthy reset that suggests the next move could be powerful. Moving averages are starting to converge, and traders know that convergence often precedes expansion. A breakout is not a question of if, but of when. Volume tells another story. Despite the sideways action, volume spikes accompany accumulation days. This means that big money is not absent, they are quietly positioning. While retail grows impatient, whales accumulate, and when ETFs or regulatory clarity hit, these positions will suddenly make sense. The market will look back and realize that accumulation zones were the preparation for liftoff. ETF mechanics matter. When Bitcoin's ETF launched, it unlocked pension funds, hedge funds, and conservative investors who previously avoided direct crypto exposure. XRP could benefit in a similar but potentially sharper way, because XRP offers unique value in payments and settlement. It's not just a speculative instrument, it has a role in the global financial plumbing, and institutions know that. Giving them a way to buy into XRP through a regulated ETF is like opening the floodgates. Analysts caution that timelines are not set in stone. The SEC could delay, market sentiment could wobble, or macroeconomic conditions could shift. But the probability of progress is far stronger today than it has been in years. Regulators are under pressure to provide clarity, markets are demanding fair treatment across crypto assets. And XRP sits at the intersection of compliance readiness and utility adoption, making it one of the safest bets for institutions exploring diversification. Market psychology around $1 remains key. This level has become a battleground, a resistance that, once broken, could trigger rapid acceleration. Think of it as the ignition switch. Break $1 with volume, and the narrative flips from frustration to euphoria. Traders pile in, headlines amplify the move, and suddenly XRP is not just an ETF story, but a market-wide phenomenon. The kind of viral momentum that can drive exponential moves in short time frames. Global catalysts add fuel, central banks are exploring digital currencies, cross-border payment systems are evolving, and Ripple continues to be at the center of these conversations. When governments or institutions look for scalable, efficient settlement tools, XRP's ledger stands out, and that backdrop strengthens every speculative move, because unlike many altcoins, XRP has substance beyond price charts. It has use cases, partners, and infrastructure. September 18th looms like a convergence point, not because it guarantees anything, but because too many narratives align around it. Traders see it, analysts see it, institutions see it, and the crowd is watching. This collective focus is what turns dates into inflection points. If an announcement or breakout lands near that timeline, it will confirm months of speculation and could rewrite XRP's trajectory for the rest of the year. Holders must remember patience is power. Timing cannot always be predicted to the day.